Hi Stampers, it's Nancy from stampandshout.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So mark your calendars if you're old-fashioned like me, but you can also click the subscribe button and then the notification button, and you'll get a little text on your phone or on your computer every time I'm going live, so you won't miss any of my videos. But again, I am here every Tuesday, and you can always watch it on replay. So welcome. Tonight, I am going to share with you cards that I made using the Piece to You stamp set. And these are going to be quick and easy cards, and they're going to be oh so beautiful. And why are they quick and easy? It's because of the stamp set. I'm going to show you a couple different versions, basically switching up the color, and it just changes the whole outlook of your card. So whatever your favorite Christmas color is to create with, you can do it with this stamp set. This one, I'm going to change it up just a little bit. This is going to be what I'm going to call my gold Christmas card. And then this one is going to be my silver Christmas card. So let's get started. Excuse me. I think we're going to start with this one. And like I said, we're going to change it up just a tiny bit. I'm going to add a little bit more pizzazz to it. But I am using a card base, and the card base is Starry Sky. And it's 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. Then I have 2 pieces of Very Vanilla that are cut to 5 by 3 3/4. This one's for the inside, and the one for the front, I already ran through the time-worn embossing folder. And this embossing folder goes really well with the Piece to You stamp set, with this little image of Jesus and Joseph and Mary and Jesus. And it's time worn, so it kind of gives it that old feel. I know you probably can't see it that well on the camera, but I thought it went really well with the stamp set. Then I took a piece of cherry cobbler, and I took one of the stitched rectangles, and we're going to use this piece right here. Then I have a scrap of Very Vanilla, and that's what we're going to do our stamping on. And then I have a little scrap for our sentiment. Then one more thing that I do have that I'm going to change it up with is a piece of the gold glitter paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that right around the edge to really make it shiny, and then we add the gold little embellishment there. So to create this, I just took a piece of the gold glitter paper, and I took my 2 rectangles, and I put them, I'm trying to see if I have the other gold piece. I put them right over my gold glimmer paper. I cut it out. This piece here, which I have somewhere, popped right out. I'm going to save that for another card, but that's how I create that frame. So that's going to add a little bit of shimmer to our card. So let's see. First thing, let's go ahead and glue that piece on the front of our card, and we'll have that all out of the way. And then we'll do a little bit of stamping. And then we're going to color with our Stampin' blends. Okay, so that's going to go right on the front, just like that. Then we're going to bring in our stamping piece. Now to stamp with these images, I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus, because these are solid stamps. And rather than put them on my block and stamp, to ensure that I get a really good image, I'm going to use the Stamparatus, and that way if it's not a solid image the first time I stamp, I can redo it. Just close that stamp up one more time and stamp it one more time. So I went ahead and lined this up ahead of time, so I have my stamp stuck right there on that little window, on that window plate. And those are my magnets, and I'm going to stamp this using the Starry Sky. So let me just bring this down a little bit, and I'm going to grab a stamp pad, just put it under here just to give it more of a level, just to level that out. I'm going to take my Starry Night stamp pad and just ink that all up like that. And then just press it. And I'll move this up in a second so you can see a little bit better. So it's pretty nice, just like that. It would be fine. I'm just going to close it up one more time and push just a little bit over here and get a little bit more ink on that side. And there we have a perfect image, and we're going to finish our card. But let me bring in my chamois and just clean off that ink pad real quick. So here's my little chamois. If you guys don't have one of these, they are wonderful for cleaning your stamps. It's called the Simply Chamois. And all you do is just wet this, and you can wring it out. The excess ink will come out over and over and over again. You just rinse it out. And as you can see, I've used this for a couple of years now, and it's fine. And I just keep it in a little, I guess this is a DVD case. And if you keep it closed, it stays wet for a couple days. It's really nice. So we'll put this off to the side. We're going to use that again on our next card. But on this one here, I'm going to cut this out. And you can fussy cut it with your scissors, or you can use your little cutting machine. And I am just going to use this cutter that I have, that I got from Stampin' Up. I'm just trimming the edges. I'm not going to worry about the bottom right now. I think that's going to be, I'll do that in a second. Or like I said, you can just fussy cut it. Just like that. And I am going to trim this just a little bit more. I don't want that color showing. I want all the navy or the starry night showing. Okay, so for the bottom, I'm going to wait and see how much I need to trim off. Let's bring in our card pieces again. So this is going to fit right on here like that. Just kind of fit like that. So I'm just going to trim a tiny bit off the bottom. We're going to put our sentiment across the bottom, so you don't have to worry about the bottom too much. And I am just going to, we're going to color this in, and then I'm going to attach it to that cherry cobbler piece. So before I attach it, I'm going to bring in some Stampin' blends, and we're going to color these in. And I'm not going to be too fancy or fussy, and I'm just going to color these in. Oh, my light's back. Turn my light back on. So I am just going to go ahead and color this in the balmy blue. And truth be told, if you didn't color this in, it's gorgeous just like that. It'd be just beautiful on your card. But I want to show you how you can color it in. If you like to color and do that, that's fine. Color the inside just a little bit. And I'm coloring just a little bit extra where the dark edges would be. And then there's just a little bit here that's going to be part of her veil or her scarf. Okay, then I'm going to bring in Cherry Cobbler, and I'm going to do Joseph's top part. Oop, I think I'll use the small edge on this. Just color this in. Like I said, if you don't have the blends, they are so much fun to use, and they do add a lot to your card. But this card here, you want to create a bunch of cards really quick. You just keep stamping and stamping, and you could have 5 or 6 cards or more, and you don't even have to color them in. A little bit right here. Just a little. And then for his robe, I'm going to use the light crumb cake. If you're in the bigger areas, you can go ahead and use the thicker end of your blend. And in the little tight spots, you can use the skinny end. And I think that end is just a little bit dry, so I'm going to use the other end. So around his hands. And then on Baby Jesus, we're going to color his little swaddling blanket. Just like that. And let me see here. I'm debating if I want to color in the staff anything with a color. Let me look here. I think I will. I'm going to be bold today. I'm just going to take and use the skinny end of a darker color, and I'll tell you what color I grabbed in a second. Just drawing a line on the wooden staff. What color did I pick up? Dark Daffodil Delight. That's an old one for sure. But that's all I did for that, and I'm going to glue that on and put the rest of our card together. And this fits really nice on this little stitched rectangle, just like that. That's going to go there, but first I'm going to bring in a little teeny tiny strip and stamp the sentiment. So I'm going to bring back in the Starry Sky, and I am going to stamp Silent Night, Holy Night on the front. Now I already cut this strip down to size, and I stamped it okay. I stamped it fine, but if you want, you could stamp it on a longer strip and then cut it down to fit, and it's going to fit right there at the bottom. I'm going to leave that ink out. So then I just popped this up with dimensionals on the front of my card. Like I said, what I like about this stamp set is it's easy to use, and this is a nice layout. It kind of makes it look fancy, but it's still very easy. So I'm putting this right in the middle. Then I'm going to go ahead and glue our sentiment at the bottom. Put it right at the bottom here. And then this piece I'm going to put right at the bottom. You could pop this up too if you want, but I liked the way it looked when it was set back. So I'm going to glue it, and it's going to sit right behind that little frame or that little rectangle. Fits just perfectly. Just like that. And I'm going to show you something new. This is brand new. It just came out. If you're a demonstrator, you can get it now. Otherwise, customers can get it November 1st. It's just part of a set that's coming out, which I'm going to talk about later this week. And these are called gold adhesive backed swirls, and they're really, really pretty. I know it's hard to see, but they're a nice size. They're a circle. They're flat, so they don't add a lot of dimension to your card, and they have a swirl on them. Let me see if you can see how they have lines on them. It's really pretty. So that's the front of our card. Then for the inside, I'm going to bring in another stamp that is with the stamp set, and that is Peace to You at Christmas. So we'll bring back in the Starry Sky ink. And it's really pretty font. Love it. So let me just clean off my stamps one more time over here with my little chamois. And then we'll glue that in. And then we're going to make our next card. So that font is very pretty, isn't it? The way they wrote Christmas, beautiful. That's going to go right there. Okay, first card's done. What do you think? Do you like it? Next card. So this one has the church scene and a little bit of silver in it with the starry sky. I think it's just gorgeous, and it's so easy. You guys are going to love this. So for this card, let me find my pieces. Right here in front of me. So I have a base of Whisper White, and it's 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And if I forget to tell you something, go to my blog later, and I will have more pictures and the sizes and the colors and shopping links if you're interested in making any purchases. And by the way, today there's a bunch of items that were added to the clearance rack at Stampin' Up, so make sure you check those out. Then I have 2 pieces of white that are 5 by 3 3/4, one for the inside and one for the front. The one for the front, I already ran through the Merry Melody 3D folder, so it has that pretty little texture to it with the musical notes. So we got Starry Sky mats that are 5 1/4 by 4. So one for the inside, one for the front. Then I have a piece of white and a piece of silver for the church scene that we're going to stamp. I'm starting off with a piece of white that's 3 1/4 by 3 5/8, and after I stamp, I'm going to cut it down to 3 by 3 3/8, and then my foil is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So let's do some stamping, and again, I'm going to use my Stamparatus. So of course, you can use it either way. So for the first card, I used the plate up for the top for that stamp, and now this one, so I don't have to switch them out right away for viewing purposes. I have it on that window, and I'm going to lay this piece down like this, and I want the longer, the 3 3/8 this way, so I have more at the bottom. And let me just check this out. I'll move it over just a little bit. And check it out. And this one I'm also going to cut down like I said, and I want more at the bottom, more white space at the bottom. So I'm just double checking here. And that looks perfect. So again, I'm using the Starry Sky ink, and I'm just going to bring this ink pad in and put it underneath that little window, that cover plate, that clear plate, and that helps me get an even surface to work on. And just close it up. Just a little bit more right there. If I want, I can put more ink on, but I think I can just use the ink that's on here and just push down a little bit. I think that's perfect. I love it. And just because I'm going to put this away, I'm going to go ahead and clean this off with my chamois. So these are a couple of useful tools. The chamois and the Stamparatus are tools that I use quite often. And then we have this piece here. And we are going to do some embossing. But first, I'm going to trim this down a little bit. And I want this to be 3 inches across. So let me see. There's 3 inches. I'm just going to trim so I just have a little bit of a white border all the way around. Not the bottom. I want the bottom to stay just like it is. So this is about 3 inches. And there you go. I trimmed it. I'm going to go a little bit more on this side. So it'll be a little bit less than 3. So I just have a slight white border all the way around. So now I'm going to bring in my silver embossing powder and my Versamark. And I'm going to bring the inside piece in because I'm going to emboss the inside too at the same time. So on the front, I'm going to put Silent Night, Holy Night, and on the inside, I'm going to emboss Peace to You at Christmas. So first thing we're going to do is stamp with the Versamark. And I'm going to stamp this right at the bottom in the center with my Versamark. Just like that. And then on this one, I'm going to stamp Peace to You at Christmas. And then I want to show you this other tool, the embossing toolkit. I was so excited when I saw this. So usually when I emboss, I take a piece of paper and fold it in half, and I go ahead and sprinkle my powder on there and then pour it back in. But this little tool, I just want to make sure I have it all nice and clean from my prior use. Just taking a paper towel and wiping out any extra that might be there. So now I can bring in my little pieces. I'm going to do them one at a time and go ahead and put my embossing powder right in this tray, and it's going to collect all that powder. And I've got my little brush that comes with this set, and anywhere there's a little excess powder that I don't want, I can knock it off with that brush. Just like that. And it also comes with these little tweezers that we're going to use in a second. So that's ready. Just making sure I have it all covered nicely. So I can heat that up, but before I do, I'm going to show you, I just have to unscrew this little knob here, and then all of that powder goes right back in the jar without a mess. Isn't that cool? So now if I was embossing a lot with my silver or something, I could silver powder or gold powder, I could keep it in a little plastic container with the lid. But if you don't emboss that often and you just keep your little jars, this is the perfect little tool to use. It's the embossing toolkit. And it comes with this tray with the little cap and the little brush and the tweezers and your embossing buddy. So anyways, excited to show you all these little tools. So now I'm going to bring in my heat gun. I'm going to turn it on for a second, let it get hot, and then I'm going to go ahead and heat these up. See it change into that pretty silver. And that's done. And so pretty. So now let's finish our card. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my layer piece on here, my matte piece. And then we'll glue our embossed piece, the piece we embossed with the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder. So yeah, currently what Stampin' Up! Has going on, if you join Stampin' Up!, you get an extra pick. Usually you get, for $99, you get to choose $125 worth of product. And now you get to choose a whole extra product. So I think it's like, I don't know, I can't tell you exactly. You have to look it up. But it's a good deal just through October. So now this piece here, before I glue it down, I can see I need to trim it just a little bit more so it fits on my silver piece. So let me trim that just a little bit more. I think I'll trim the top first. Just a little bit more. Let's take a peek. A little bit more here, just to have it equal on all sides. Perfect. Okay, so now we'll glue the stamped piece to this foil piece. When I glue this, I'm going to put my glue more on the inside because I don't want it to squirt out and touch that pretty silver foil. Kind of dulls it. So put that right in the center, like that. And I'm going to go push my glue to the inside so it doesn't squirt out. And then some dimensionals. And one in the middle. This is a beautiful card. I have a couple more I'm going to show you after we're done in different colors, or just two more. Because like I said, you could use this stamp, this card layout with any color that you like. And then I'm going to bring in some rhinestones and put a couple of rhinestones on here. Make it shimmer a little bit more. It's very subtle, but it's really pretty. Just like that. And then on the inside, go ahead and glue our matte piece in. And I think when we're done, I am going to redo, or I'm going to do it off camera. I'm going to redo my stamped image inside just because I think it's a little crooked. Maybe not. No, I think it's good. Don't be so picky, Nancy. No, it's good. Beautiful. Beautiful card. Love it. So there you go. So we have our gold and our silver card. So let me show you one more card that I made in red and green. So this looks, well, I guess it looks exactly like it should on camera. In person, it looks more green, but it's Coastal Cabana, and that's what I inked. That's the church scene up. And then I stamped Peace to You at Christmas. And see how perfect it fits there right at the bottom? Then I did a little layer of red, and I have the same embossing folder, the Merry Melody, and I put it on a real red card base. So I thought that was really pretty too. So same thing. Then one other thing, and I didn't finish this. I didn't know which color I wanted to add to it, but this is Coastal Cabana stamped on Coastal Cabana. So that's another beautiful look. So you can have a lot of fun with this, and I hope you like this layout because it's quick, it's easy, and it's just really, really pretty. And I think you can make a lot of Christmas cards with this stamp set. Beautiful religious Christmas cards. So anyway, Thanks for being with me. I hope you liked my cards. Please leave me a few comments and come back next week. And don't be shy. Stamp and shout.